I mad upon you, are you Washalom, Satan's face, Jerusalem. Psalm, listen to the Sabbath. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Ashirah.
Asherah.
Nathanawa.
Nathanawa.
Ashabaf.
Ashabah.
Bashalawam.
Bashalawam.
The water. Aman.
Aman.
English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it. Psalm 121. Ta'alim ma'a asherayim achad. Anya Arayam Ayinimya O Arayam Mayan Yabua Isaiah Yabua Maya Hawa Shahaisha Shamayam Ba'arataza La'a Jonathan Lamawat Galia Yala'a Yanawam Shasho Marka Ana La'a Yanawam Wala'a Yishan Shasho Mar Yasharala Yahawa Shamaya Yahawa Tazalia Ayat Yad Yinyam Yad Yawmam Ashamash La'a Hakaya Bayarat La'a Balayala Yahawa Yashamoya Makal Rai Yashamor Napasha Yahawa Yashamor Awalakia Awaya Maitha Wa'aid Ayulam Bahasham Yahushai Towada Aman.
Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Shema Yasharala, hero of Israel. Shema Yasharala Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh Akkad Shema Yasharala Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh Akkad Shema Yasharala Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh Akkad.
Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh Tapala, Yahweh's prayer. Abiyanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Chodash. Haya. Shamka. Yahweh. Malakovka. Taba'a. Ratazawanka. Haya. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Ka. Mashamayim. Natananawa. Mukam. Yuwam. Za. Wasalaknawa. Ka Wafnawa. Kasalaknawa. Ka Wafyanawa. Wala'a. Abiyanawa. Oh. Nasai 1. Abo. Awashainawa. Marai. Kaya. Baka. Amalakwa. Wahala. Wataparat. Ayulam. Aman.
Matthew 6 and 9. After this manner therefore pray, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. Ashura Matazawaf. Ten Commandments. La'a.
La'a.
Yahaya.
Yahaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Alqayim.
Alqayim.
Alpanya.
Alpanya.
La'a.
La'a.
Daisha.
Daisha.
Laka.
Laka.
Poso.
Poso.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Taibudam.
Duagadam.
La'a.
La'a.
Talakwaka.
Talakwaka.
Shamwa.
Shamwa.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Lahaika.
Lahaika.
Lashawa.
Lashawa.
Zakar.
Zakar.
Af.
Ah.
Ayuwam.
Ayawam.
Ashabaf.
Ashabat.
Lakodashwa.
Lakodashwa.
Kabad.
Kabad.
Abika.
Abika.
Wa'amaka.
Wahamaka.
La'a.
La'a.
Watazak.
Ratazak.
La'a.
La'a.
Tana'ap.
Tana'ap.
La'a.
La'a.
Taganab.
Taganab.
La'a.
La'a.
Taina.
Taina.
Shukur.
Shakur.
La'a.
La'a.
Takamat.
Takamat.
Ko.
Kod.
Ashurat.
Ashurat.
Laharaika.
Raika.
Aman.
Aman. Exodus 20 and 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visit the iniquity of the father upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold it guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and holiday. Honor thy father and thy mother, that their days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen.
Amen. Yeshua, please be seated. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Asherah, Atadanawa, Pa Yagaban, Tuwara Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Af Yasha'ala. English translation, blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that give to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it, to Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, with Israel. I madwa upon you while you wash them, stand and face Jerusalem. Repeat the Hebrew only. Barakatah Yahweh, Haggadah, Barakaram, Abiyah, Manawa'ah, Aliyawan, Malak, Shaw, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Wakal, Nabayim, Kayayam, Wagam, Amashiach, Mayahawa, Adawanawa, Ahabnawa, Apala, Yawa Aitaza, Yahweh Shai, Zukarnawa, Yahweh, Bataza 1, Aimka, Yasha Allah, Aizornawa, Bana, Wasap, Yasha Allah, Oh, Nanawa, Yamyan, Aitha, Kayuwamian, Makodam, Babakushai, Shalak, Maika Allah, Bataza Wadak, Alahayam, La, Maganawa, Wapanawa, Washimor, Alnawa, Baikur, Shalak, Aroka, Shaw, Yahweh Shai, Lun Nawa, Lala Mud Nawa, Rabium, Kakama, Tabawana, Wada Ike, Shaw, the Barka, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the Water, Yad, Waiwulam, Aman. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth and all things living, and also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor, Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel. Mosiah, we beg you right now, like the days of old, please send Michael and the righteous powers and angel to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahushai to us to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahushai, thank you always and forever, so be it. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the Lord. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Atha. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Awar, Lawa Arat. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Asherah, Nathanawa, Karan, Ayal, Lakara, Ain. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Asherah, Nathan Lanawa, Hasheman, Zayat, Lamashak, Yasha Allah. Yeshua, please be seated.
Do you have to write how much you put in there?
Yeah. Name, date, how much you put in. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Ayashara Kanas, where we teach the so-called Negroes and Hispanics, those scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. They are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. As regularly scheduled, without failing, from one Sabbath to the other, shall all flesh come to worship me, saith the Lord. So today is another Sabbath day, and we're here to celebrate or to observe the Sabbath as it is written, as we read in Exodus, the 20th chapter. It is a privilege to be here, by Hashem Yahushai, to be of service to the Most High first, and to help Israel in the quest of seeking to understand the kingdom of the Most High, which the children of Israel will inherit and have dominion and rulership over the planet called Earth that we in today, to take over this wicked system that is not useful and that is unprofitable, not only right to themselves, but they are unprofitable to the entire earth. And we can see that the whole earth has been wasted under their habitation, under their rulership. Once again, Shalom, which means peace. And my name is Kahan Pokwad. I will be presiding over the service. Today, the Sabbath service will be reading in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 19th chapter. In the book of Wisdom of Solomon, a lot of wisdom, and we will be navigating through that chapter and get some more understanding, wisdom, knowledge on how we should rehearse the righteous act, because things written aforetime was written for our learning, for through patience, right, and comfort of the spirit, might have hope in the kingdom that we are waiting for. Without further ado, brothers and sisters, we're gonna go into the book of Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, which is also found in the Apocrypha. And the Apocrypha is included in the Bible, right? And it was removed because the wicked system, they didn't want it in there, right? All right. So in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, in the very first chapters, we learn the chapters that we read before. We learn about righteousness, judgment, and now we're gonna go into how the Most High punished the wicked when we were in Egypt, and how we were escaped through the Red Sea, led to the wilderness by the hand of the Most High, by Hashem Yahushai. right, it says in the first verse in Wisdom of Solomon, as for the ungodly, wrath came upon them without mercy unto the end, for he knew before what they would do. Right? So the ungodly, the Most High punished them, and he knew exactly in advance what they would do. Right? He knows their future actions. The Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, the 19th chapter. Got it? Okay. Now, let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 57 and verse 21. Verse 20 to 21. Isaiah 57 and verse 20. But the wicked are like the troubled sea. What's the characteristics of the sea when it's troubling? Meaning the wave. When the wave move, right? It's not like a slow flowing water, right? It pretty much go in waves, and the waves are violent, and they go up and down, right? Very unstable. In verse 20, it says, but the wicked are like the troubled sea. That's the characteristics, one of the characteristics of the wicked. Very, very unstable. When it cannot rest, so it cannot rest. Imagine the sea rest for a few seconds. It wouldn't be like the sea. So imagine the wicked not doing wickedness. That wouldn't be like the wicked. But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest. So when it cannot rest, and it's troublesome, in the continued verse, it says, whose waters can cast off mire and dirt. So if you have a chance to visit the sea, you'll see the wave keep casting up a lot of dirt, keep pushing dirt, right? Keep pushing unwanted things that are not desirable. So it's the same way the wicked keep pushing out garbage out there in the world, right? They push garbage out there in the world in all their institutions, whether it be in the news, whether it be in the news putting out information, in their books, right? In food, right? In food, in their education system, or garbage. Because the things that are being learned in school, for the most part, they are garbage. Right? Things that are not profitable. And he makes some good things with lies. And when you have lies mixing with truth, regardless of how big or how much truth you have in it, it is all trash. Right? That's why the Mosai tell us to take leaven out of our house around the time of the Passover. Even a little leaven, right, spread around and leaven up the whole lump. So a small wicked lie, as small as it can be, and as abundant the truth can be, when you mix lies within it, the whole thing become corrupted. So the wicked again being described here in Isaiah 57:20 as the troubled sea, which cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. In verse 21, there is no peace, saith my God, to the wicked. So there's no peace. If we look for peace in a wicked system, keep searching. Keep searching, because at some point in time, we will get tired if we seek for peace in this wicked kingdom. Right? That's why the operative word now that being used by our people, I'm tired. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. Right? It is because when we seek to understand and try to find some kind of peace in a wicked system, we're going to get tired of looking. We're going to get tired of waiting for something good to happen. Right? Even if one thing good happened, wait for 10 more craziness, right, to emerge later on. Right? So it's constantly living with the wicked. It's like the troubled sea. It never rests.
Psalm 7 and 11. Psalm 7 and 11. God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day.
Every day. So God angry with the wicked every day. Why? Because the wicked seek not righteousness. And he will never seek righteousness. Even when he had a chance to seek righteousness, he did not. So back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 19th chapter, where we seeing the judgment of the Most High on the wicked, more specifically the Egyptians. So we are familiar with what happened to us in Egypt, and now we're reading how the Most High punished them. And it says once again, starting verse 1, as for the ungodly, wrath came upon them without mercy unto the end, for he knew before what they would do. He knew before what they would do. How the Most High knew what the wicked would do? He knows everything. Right? The wicked and the righteous are his. Right? He knows their move before they even do it. Verse 2, moving along. As a matter of fact, let's go to Job, link with verse 1. Job 37 and verse 16. Job 37 and verse 16. All right, Job 37 and verse 16 reads, do thou know the balancing of the clouds? Right, this is the Most High. Sometimes, even the righteous, when we have questions, things that we don't understand, and we come to the Most High and ask, just like Ezra did. Now, the Most High is pretty much reason with us, right? The Most High is reasonable. You can discuss with the Most High. You can ask the Most High questions. So this is right here, the Most High in this verse right here, answering Job, right? And he said, do thou know the balancing of the clouds? When you look up to heaven, you see the cloud, right? And if you travel, when you're on the plane, you see the airplane goes through the cloud, right? Easily, piercing through the cloud. As if it's nothing, right? If it's, plain air. But guess what? The cloud has weight. But who know the balance of the cloud? Right? Who know the weight of the cloud? The Most High knows the weight of the cloud. It says, do thou know the balancing of the clouds? The wondrous work of him which is perfect in knowledge. Imagine some entity, a power, or someone who is perfect in knowledge. Someone who is perfect in knowledge, he knows everything about anything. Knows everything about anything. If you want to find out how the span is made, the Most High knows about it. If you want to find out how the air that you breathe made, he knows about it. If you want to find out about oxygen, he knows about it. If you want to know about the river, how the river connects and flows, he knows about it. So just to name a few things, right? He knows about it. So I can just name a few things that the light. If you turn on the light switch, an electrician can tell you, but how makes the light, why the light becomes the light? How when you light the light, the place just bright up? He knows how that made because he made them, right? He split atoms because everything that we have on us right now, from clothing to jeans to whatever we have, everything created has atom in it. And he knows about the atom because he made the atom. And he can split the atom and make it whatever he wants. All knowledge. You're talking about chemistry, you're talking about physics, whatever subject you can ever imagine that people learn in school, the Most High is the originator of the true physics, of true chemistry.
So they just follow him.
Yeah. Right? That's pretty much all perfect in knowledge. Now, I'm even expressing how the Most High is perfect in knowledge. I can only use examples of what I see in front of me. Even things that I cannot see or I don't understand or I don't know, the Most High knows about them. Why? He's the originator of all things, seen and unseen. Okay? That was Job 37 in verse 16. Also, Psalm 147 and 5. Psalm 147 and 5 reads, great is our Lord. Great is our Lord. Meaning great is our master. Great is our owner. right? Great is the owner, or our owner, our master. And of great power, his understanding is infinite. So, infinite, meaning no beginning, no ending. Infinite. Imagine that. Everything that we see in our realm here has a beginning and an ending. Even the so-called good time we enjoy, everything has a beginning, it has an ending. But the Most High doesn't have a beginning, he doesn't have an ending, and his understanding is infinite. Inquire of the Most High anything you will, anything you want, he knows about it. No lack of knowledge, no lack of understanding, infinite. No lack of anything whatsoever. We live in a system where even the economic system is based on scarcity, supply and demand, right? There's limited goods to go around, so they say, right? But in the Most High's realm, there's no lack of anything. Just picture that into your mental, okay? Infinite. And Kahan Yao you have a comment or verse?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. All right. And verse 17. Right? The Most High is infinite knowledge and everything, all right? So, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17, it says, "For he, the Most High, had given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, and the alteration of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuit of years, and the position of stars, the nature of living creatures, and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasoning of men, and the diversity of plants, and the virtues of roots." So the Most High gave, Solomon in the same book, certain knowledge.
Right. So keep in mind, the Most High gives Solomon knowledge, right? Even that knowledge he gives Solomon, it's only part, in a very small part of what the Most High knows. Minute compared to the knowledge that the Most High have and his understanding. Okay, so now let's move on, verse 2. And I'm going to move swiftly, right? Going forward. How that having given them leave to depart and sent them hastily away, right? Send them hastily away. They would repent and pursue them. So now let's connect to what happened, right? So we were slaves, and the Most High sent Moses to let Pharaoh know, let my people go. Okay. After he saw some of the plague that the Most High put on the Egyptians, he decided to let the Most High's people go. Right? He made the decision to let them go. What happened afterward? When he sees that they they leaving, he went and chased after them again. Right? He went and chased after them again after he allowed them to leave. Right? In verse 3 now, they changed their mind. Right? They changed their mind about letting us go.
Right.
In verse 3, for while they were yet mourning and making lamentation at the graves of the dead, they added another foolish device and pursued them as fugitive, whom they had entreated to be gone. So now imagine you let them go, and they in mourning, they're in a state of mourning of the dead of their firstborn. While they doing that, they still have the nerve to chase Israel while we were, living, right? We were living out of Egypt. Why? There's something called fear of loss. It's the same way today.
You want to leave? Okay.
The same way today. They don't like us, right? But they don't want us to go and be in ourselves, live in our own community, start doing our own thing, start studying the Bible, and they still want to infiltrate.
Right.
Just leave us alone.
Right. You won't fight with the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right? So even we want to leave the mindset that we in, right, to go serve the Most High, they don't want to let us go. They don't want to let us go. They always want to be in our business, be in our community, infiltrated any way they can, right? Through philosophies, right? Like you cannot have anything of your own. Leave the so-called black man alone. Give him the Bible. Don't interfere, and you'll see what happens. Don't interfere. Don't put fake churches in their community, right? Don't invite your our people into your theology school. Just give him the Bible. They won't let that happen. They don't want to let us go. Right?
Yeah, even certain things we want to do among ourselves, Esau would come up and say, what you guys doing? Some kind of banking system or some kind of money, put the money in our banks.
Right.
Put the food in our,
right.
Go to our supermarket. Don't go buy bulks and give them amongst each other. Do you have license for all of these things?
20,
right.
20,
so,
right?
Right.
So brothers would go out there to the ships and order bulk stuff and distribute it among their people. And Esau would come up here. You guys have this license and permits and all these things. Where you guys getting this money from?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
No, I say, because some brothers do go out there and drive trucks and get the stuff and give to people.
Right.
Give to our people.
Right.
They don't want to come down upon us.
Right.
So we're having these Ponzi schemes, we're having this. They just want to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to look at the news. I don't even look at the news, but right now, this time in my life, looking at the news, the way they done set up the sport. And I watch how they set up different types of sports, like golf, hockey, and all that, and baseball. Oh, that's ice cream and table. But it comes down to football and basketball, they're trying to do it a separate way.
Right.
I said, my man looks back, that ain't going to last too long right there. God going to kick in.
Right.
He going to come.
Right. It just let us be.
God.
But that's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. And anything that they do, they want us in it.
Right.
Right? They want us in it. And knowing that in our situation, right, we always looking for opportunity. But live your opportunities. We don't need it. Let us do our own thing. Right? But that's not going to happen. All right, so let's go to the 4th verse.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear of loss, right? The fear of loss had them chase us because they really gonna go. So they see that we were their assets. So now you really gonna let them go. Man, they knew how good we were and even in how we were serving them, but they don't want to let us go. Let my people, they don't want to let us go. Yes, let them go, then they chase after us. Verse 4. For the destiny, even they were mourning too.
Yeah.
They made another foolish decision. And the Most High says, a time for everything. Right? A time for everything. So don't think things that's happening right now, you're going to get any good decision behind it.
No.
Right? You're going to get, once things are getting bad, you expect people to act, in a way that is rational. Expect for another irrational, decision to be made by those higher up.
Please, I say this. The coronavirus, about a month and a half ago, since it's been out 2 months, 3 months, they asked us where I stay at, do you want to take this coronavirus test? No. I'm all right. No. Look here, it's about 30 of us. No. And they started chopping it down. 2 days ago, May Thursday, that was the last day these people was coming here. She came and said to me, and my 2 buddies sitting at the table, got my Bibles out, are you going to take the test, Mr. Robinson? No, ma'am. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with me. Really. She looked at her like, tell her. She said, I tell you what, okay, I said, excuse me, if you start off talking like that, you already made your mind up. You're going to kick us out, we're going to take this test. She said, exactly. Oh, just like that. Oh, look here, my man who worked there, name is Adam. He didn't take the test. He told me, I'm not taking nothing y'all bring up. Fire me. I'm going to take you to court to you. He said about 13 of them. Wow. My supervisor worked for the city of Philadelphia. He was a Hebrew Israelite. On snow duty, he would have been there, excuse me, but he never signed in to get paid. He just was there. But once, what time the sunset, and nighttime the sunset came on Saturday night, the Sabbath over with, right? Like tonight, the Sabbath over with, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. He was signed in. I asked him, why you never told me that? He said, man, I didn't know. I said, you had to know I was into it because I was sitting in my truck. I was reading my Bible, trying to learn what I could learn.
Right.
Never told me, but back to her when she did the other day,
right.
He said, man, I wish I was around here.
Right.
She would have kicked y'all out. Y'all already in the street. And she used, look here, she used her power against me. When that black nurse looked at her, no. My man said no. He said no. She looked at him, looked at her.
Right. And we're going to read that as we go along. You're going to see how they treat people.
Yeah.
Strangers, how the system treats strangers. We're going to read that as we go along.
Ooh. Come on, bring it on. Come on. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good right here. Look at that.
I'm trying to read it quickly. Exodus chapter 5, verse 3. And they said, the God of the Hebrews had met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. Verse 4, and the king of Egypt said unto them, wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their works get you unto your burdens? So, get back to your work.
Right.
And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens. Verse 6, and Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, as heretofore, let them go and gather straw for themselves, and the tally of the bricks which they did make heretofore, he shall lay upon them, he shall not diminish all thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God. So, they
you read from what verse to what verse?
5 to 8, no.
No, from 3.
3 to 7.
Acts chapter 5, verse 3 to 8.
Okay.
So they wanted to keep us busy. Keep us doing our job, and even make our job even harder.
Right.
And the tally of bricks is the same. They keep us, not take us from our job,
right,
but keep us on our job.
Right. And
Make us continue work.
right. And the premise for it was to stop us from taking over. That's all it's about. Because the Most High said we would be like the sand of the sea.
Yeah.
We will spread. So the fear of us taking over make them take desperate measures against us, but still they cannot, they cannot destroy Israel. And Israel still kept on rising, right? So let's go to Wisdom of Solomon back again. Verse 4. For the destiny whereof they were worthy drew them unto this end, and made them forget the things that had already happened, that they might fulfill the punishment which was wanting to their torments. In verse 4, what is happening here is pretty much letting us know that the Most High predestined everything before it happened, right? Meaning he sets everything and he knows what's going to happen before it happens because he sets it. He sets it up.
He knows about it.
So, right? He knows about it because he set it up. So everything is predestined, right?
Right.
Everything is set. And in order for their punishment to be filled, they would need to be wicked so that they can get the punishment in its fullness. So also write down Ephesians 1 and 5. Ephesians 1 and 5. Link with verse 4. So the fate that they deserve drew them to this end. So the Most High made them forget what had happened before. I mean, you would understand somebody will learn from the past, even though the past is vivid in front of them, but the Most High caused them to forget what had happened, and they behave in ways where they would go against what is right, so that their punishment would be exactly what they got. In Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5.
Having predestinated unto us.
Now you got to read it loud so that everybody hears it.
Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5. Having predestinated predestination unto us unto the adoption of the children by Jesus Christ to himself according to the good pleasure of his will.
Right. According to the good pleasure of the Most High's will, the children of Israel already been chosen by the Most High. And according to his will, not according to anybody's commandment, but according to the Most High's will. Yeah, it went off. The oil, you got oil, right? All right, go ahead. So according to the Most High predestination, the children of Israel have already been chosen. So what we're doing here is just living out what the Most High already said from the beginning. All right, so also write down Romans 8 and 29. Romans 8, 29 to 30.
What was that? Romans what?
Romans chapter 8, verse 29 to 30.
Wow.
I on the bar. Romans chapter 8 and verse 29. I read it real fast. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose, right? According to the Most High's purpose. Verse 29, for whom he did foreknew, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. This is a factor of predestination right here in those verses. Verse 5, and that thy people might pass a wonderful way, but they might find a strange death. Right, so Most High drew them so that we can be delivered, and they also trying to pursue us, right, in crossing the Red Sea, then they may be drowned. They may be drowned from in the water.
You know about it.
Right, so the Most High actually, you would know the Most High did everything that he did to them, and he also made them forget, so that pursuing us in the Red Sea, then the sea opened up for us as a passageway, and while they pursuing after us, then the sea just closed up on them and they died. Right, so that their punishment pretty much was fulfilled exactly how the Most High intended to happen. Verse 6. For the whole creature and his proper kind was fashioned again anew. Right? The creature was fashioned anew. So now we transition from the punishment, right, to the Most High protecting his people. And that's very key right here. Enough about the wicked. We already know what their end's going to be. But now let's go to the protection that the Most High offered to his people. And we're going to read its ultimate protection, things that we can only imagine, right? And the Most High made them happen. Now, let's take a journey into the mind of the wilderness, right? In the wilderness state of mind. Imagine the Most High take us. When I say us, we were there back then, right? Let's get back to that wilderness journey where we once were. Now, back then in the wilderness, right? When we left out of Egypt. So let's go back to that mindset again and quickly for a brief moment. The Most High took us to a place that is uncultivated. Remember, we came out of Egypt, we had food, we had all kinds of stuff, living like a normal life, right? The Most High took us to a place now, delivered us out of Egypt to a place that is uncultivated, uninhabited, inhospitable. Right? Most High is taking us to an extreme region. Right? So now just imagine that. We used to bread, all kinds of fruits and vegetables,
Lamb.
all kinds. So now the Most High took us out of there, out of that environment where even though we were in captivity, but somehow we felt comfortable, some of us, because we can still, have the normal things that we used to. So now let's go to Deuteronomy. As a matter of fact, before we go to Deuteronomy, let's go to Acts, the book of Acts. Acts, the 3rd chapter, in the 19th verse. Verse 19.
3:19.
Fine.
First word got a whole lot of meaning.
All right, let me read that real fast. All right, Acts 3, verse 19. And it reads, repent, therefore, and be converted, that your sin may be blotted out, when the time of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. The time of refreshing. So when we read in verse 6, in chapter 19 in Wisdom of Solomon, it says, for the whole creature in its proper kind was fashioned again anew. So we were intended to be refreshed by the Most High, right? Serving the peculiar commandments that were given unto them, that thy children might be kept without hurt. So now, and it says in verse 7, keep in mind we're going to go to Deuteronomy. In verse 7, it says, as namely a cloud shadowing the camp, and where water stood before, dry land appeared. Right? This is the Most High taking us and giving us an experience. Right? Closing up the Red Sea, the Egyptian died. Now, in between, as we traveling, now we have dry land. Right? In the midst of the Red Sea. Right? Out of the Red Sea, away without impediment, and out of the violent stream, a green field. So picture the sea at one point was very violent. Nobody can navigate it easily. All of a sudden, the Most High control it and split it and control the wave and have a path with green field so that we can walk past. We can walk through. So out of the raging wave, the Most High split it and held it on both sides where it cannot, come in and harm us, and then we pretty much go in peace in between that Red Sea and dry land. Okay? And it says without impediment, unhindered. So unhindered way out of the Red Sea. Right? So now let's go to verse 8. Wherethrough all the people went that were defended with thine hand, seeing thy marvelous strange wonders. So we were defended by the Most High's hand. Let's go to Psalm 28 and 7. Psalm 28 and 7. But keep in mind what the Most High is doing here, right? We go into the wilderness, and we are being protected by the Most High. The Most High is showing us ultimate protection. Psalm 28 and 7. We got it. Psalm 28 and 7 read, the Lord is my strength and my shield, right? My heart trusted him, and I am helped. Therefore, my heart greatly rejoiceth, and with my song will I praise him. So now seeing that is very refreshing. Also, Psalm 41 and 10. And it says, Psalm 41 and 10, but thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me and raise me up, that I may requite them. I'm sorry, I meant to go to not 41 and 10, Salakia. It's 46 and 1. Psalm 46 and 1. 46 and verse 1. (46 and 1) reads, power, or the Most High, is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. At the time we were in trouble, right? The Most High was our very present help in that exact trouble that we face coming out of Egypt. Have you ever, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Would you consider us in trouble right now?
Yeah, we in trouble.
Okay.
We're in trouble to the point where it's because of the Most High's mercy, we're not consumed. We're not consuming this in the system. Right? It says, again, the Most High is our very help and strength in present trouble. Right? Last one in this, Isaiah 41 and 10. I meant 41 and 10 earlier in Isaiah. Just the idea of stepping into the sea, thinking that you're going to get somewhere, it's something imaginable. How are you going to get it into the water? You'll drown. But at that point in time, the Most High did some marvelous work. And just crossing the sea, you know, you can cross a river, a small river or a stream, but imagine crossing in the midst of a sea. How long that is? That's why sometimes it's hard for naysayer to accept this.
Yeah, he's still trying to figure that out today.
Because it's a long walk.
It is.
Not even a long walk. It takes days. It takes days on ship to cross from one end to the other. Imagine doing that on foot. A sea period.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And you have that you have a ship, and that ship is like run on an engine, when moving with power and speed, and it still takes days, sometimes 7 days, depending on what location where the ship is gonna go. So imagine now you're gonna do it on foot. Just alone put one foot in the sea, just thinking you're gonna cross the sea. All right, so
That's why the verse that was read, it said that Most High, when he divided the Red Sea, it was like a green pasture without impediment, meaning there was nothing to preclude you, stumble on, be afraid of, have to go around. Everything was just laid out, like how they said the red carpet was laid out for you,
right,
just for you.
right,
You know, it's a green carpet.
right.
But even later on, I think we read a few weeks later when the Most High says your shoes didn't mess up.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Ain't that happen?
Yeah.
So it's like if I got boots on and my boots feel somewhat warm.
Yeah.
But now I'm on my Exodus out.
Right.
So the Most High makes it so that your boots feel comfortable. Like
right.
Nothing is you can't say, oh man, the grass is green, but the latchet on my shoe, man, ain't holding my foot right.
Right.
Everything was perfect for you to get out of it.
It's like every time you gotta stop and lace up your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, there was none of that stuff.
Most High had it so that everything was good.
Right.
We were on the 84.
Good. So move on. Isaiah 41 and 10. Go on, Isaiah 41 and 10. Isaiah 41 and 10 reads, "But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me." I'm reading, I'm still stuck from Psalm. Yeah, Isaiah 41 and 10. "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." So this is the promise.
He got us right now.
Con, the Most High always got us. It's like, but what happened is, we usually get weak, and there's an element of doubt. Right? There's an element of doubt, because it's easier said than done. Right? When you're in the midst of the trouble, so it comes with practice. It comes with a lot of practice and a lot of trial and tribulation that you go through, and you see you there and fall, then you get reassurance that, man, if the Most High took me out of this one, he can take me out of that one. So it comes with practice. Right, verse 7, it says, "And as namely a cloud shadowing the camp, and where water stood before, dry land appeared, and out of the Red Sea a way without impediment, and out of the violent stream a green field." Now in verse 8. In verse 8, it says, "Wherethrough all the people went that were defended with thy hand, seeing thy marvelous strange wonder." Verse 9, For they went at large like horses. Right? It says, "For they went at large like horses, and leaped like lamb, praising thee, O Lord, who has delivered them." So now let's imagine that verse real fast. For they went at large like horses. What does horses symbolize for in terms of power? Even cars, right? They measure cars, they say, man, he has how much horsepower, right? Meaning very powerful. In the steps, the power is the step of how we were stepping, right? In that journey, you gotta walk, but the way we were stepping, we didn't get tired. every foot that we put on the ground is like we shake the ground, right? Because keep in mind, when this says verse 9, it says in range like horses, when we say a horsepower, it's like 33,000 foot-pound per minute, right? This is what a horsepower is. 1 horsepower is 33 foot-pound per minute, right? Just put it in context in how horsepower is measured. Yet, at the same time, we have that kind of power in our foot to walk, right? We step like horse, but yet we remain humble, right, to praise the Most High. Right? We felt the power. We knew that we were being helped. We were stepping and crossing. No, we didn't get tired. We were just moving along. But yet, we still praising the Most High as we moving along in our journey. So it makes sense when it says our feet didn't get swelled up. Because the way we were stepping, the Most High put strength and power in our feet. To stepping and moving and going along to that long journey. To do that long journey, you would need some extra power, some extra strength. So this is how we felt as we were moving forward, crossing the sea. So that's why it seems as if, it was something that was easy, but it was not easy. It was because of the strength of the Most High. The Most High put that kind of strength in us, but we were able to do it. Let's go to Nehemiah, chapter 9, verse 21. So 1 horsepower is equivalent to 33 foot-pound per minute. And we were like horses walking, right, like a range of rods. It says, let me read it again. For they went at large like horses and leap like lamb, praising thee. So we were both powerful in steps, but light as a lamb and very humble to praise the Most High. So we pretty much were well-rounded, even with the power the Most High gave us. He gave it to us in measure so that everything will be, not beyond measure, but exactly what we need for the journey to be accomplished.
Psalms 105, verse 37. It says, he brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes.
Right. And keep in mind, as we walk in, we have provision. We carry stuff too, right? So, but still, the Most High made our burden light. Right. So we wouldn't even have burden in our mind. Burden was like that. The journey is long, almost at now. That wasn't even in our mind. We were just stepping and praising the Most High and keep walking. So let's go to Nehemiah 9 and 21. Nehemiah 9 and verse 21. Y'all you could read that for us, Bible Kushar, once you have it. Yeah, Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 21.
Nehemiah 9, verse 21. Yeah, 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing.
So now, imagine I said the wilderness is uncultivated, uninhabited, and inhospitable. But yet, in the wilderness, we lack nothing.
Their clothes wax not old.
The clothes wax not old. The Most High controlled the elements, the item in the clothes where the clothes were fresh and well kept, even in 40 years. We did not have to go shopping in any store or go to any market to buy new clothes. The clothes that we have, they were there for 40 years and they were fresh and clean. I mean, just imagine that. Something small as clothes, the Most High said you need food, clothing, and shelter, right? So that's a necessity. That necessity they didn't get hindered. And it was well kept and fresh in the wilderness. You know?
And their feet swelled not.
And our feet swelled not. So our feet swelled not. Even walking in the wilderness, our feet did not swell. Imagine, like Kahan was bringing out, you have a boot or you have something on. Back then, it was mostly sandals. After a while, that sent the bottom just run out. Imagine 40 years, that thing just well kept. So the Most High control the elements in everything that a shoe and the sandal is made of. The Most High makes sure that is controlled. That the element didn't get deteriorated. It might seem like something small, that's something big. You have a shoe, sometimes it doesn't last you 6 months, walking in it every day. It's gone. Go to Deuteronomy 8 and 4. You can read that also. Pretty much saying the same thing, but you can read it. Deuteronomy 8 and 4. So the Most High wanted to win his people back. Right? The Most High was doing something, reshaping our mind to understand him, how he has our back, even in a situation where you wouldn't even think that, you know, your back will be hit. Deuteronomy 8 and 4.
Okay, Deuteronomy 8 and 4. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
This 40 years. It's not 40 days. It's not 40 days. 40 years. How did that happen? This is not something that we accustomed to. So the Most High went to the extreme, right, to show us his power and how we should obey him and know that he always got our back, regardless of the situation, regardless of the condition, regardless of the region, meaning wherever you may be on the planet Earth, if you are an Israelite, you shouldn't have any worries.
This is what the Most High says. Amos 5 and 25. Since the Most High have done all this stuff for us, right? This is what the Most High says. Amos 5 verse 25. Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? 40 years we didn't offer the Most High this sacrifice or offerings.
Right. $40 in the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why? We were supposed to offer ourselves as the sacrifice. Because the thing that we use in every day to offer the sacrifice, a lot of it weren't available. And keep in mind, we didn't even eat regular bread that we used to in the wilderness. Uncultivated. Right? It was uncultivated. Let's get that. Let's go to Deuteronomy.
Y'all kind of what did you read?
Amos. Amos 5.
All right. Deuteronomy 29. And verse 5, verse 6 now. 29. We're going to read 5 and 6. And I'll read that. Deuteronomy 29, verse 5 and 6.
Repeat that.
Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 5 to 6. And it reads, and all I have led, and I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxing old upon you, and thy shoes is not waxing old upon thy foot. Ye have not eaten bread, neither have ye drink wine or strong drink, that ye might know that I am the Lord your God. Things that you normal thing that you used to, you didn't have that, right? Most I wanted us not eat the bread that we used to. We didn't eat those regular bread. We didn't eat drink any wine, right? And strong drink. The Most High wanted our mind to be clear so that we see exactly what's happening, right? To be sober, right? So to our mind to be reconditioned from the way that we were living in Egypt, from how he's gonna want us to live and how he's our helper, he's our power, he's our strength. Right? So even we didn't eat these things, even all the trials and tribulation, and as we read on, kings came against us. We defeated them. And we were well kept even though we didn't have these things. We were in good health. Well taken care of. So what did we eat if we didn't eat bread? Exodus 16 and 15. Exodus 16 and 15. Meaning the regular food that we normally eat. We didn't eat that, right? And that's why at some point we reminiscent of watermelon, cucumbers, right? The normal food that we eat over there in Egypt. We took this delicacy that the Most High gave us in the wilderness, we took it for granted. After a while, somebody treating you so good, sometimes we think it's, it's normal. But it was not a normal condition, a normal environment. But still, in a place where we're supposed to be uncomfortable, we were living kind of like in luxury. All right, Exodus 16 and 15. Let me read that real fast. So the most important thing is it's always to know our history, where we originated from, where we've been, where we are now, and where we are going in the future. So once we have that in mind, we're always circumspect of everything that's happening around us. Because when we know where we originated from, we are the children of Israel, who our power is, and where we've been in the past, and what the Most High had done, right? We know our past. Now, we here in the present to not get stuck in the present because we're moving forward to a greater vision. That's the key. That's the key. So that way we don't get stuck in neither, knowing that it's part of the journey. And we have a destination, and we have a vision, we have a place where we're heading. And that vision pretty much should shape what we do. Our friendship, our vision, the vision, choose what library, what book we read, right? That vision choose our friends who are really our friends. That vision pretty much shapes everything. The vision of the destination of Jerusalem. Right, so let me read that real fast in Exodus 16 and verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, "It is manna," for they was not what it was. But they didn't know what it was. When the Most High served us manna in the wilderness, we didn't know what it was. And Moses said unto them, "This is the bread which the Lord have given you to eat." That's it. This is our food. And that food was catered to everyone's taste. So go back to, you read Numbers?
Number 5. Numbers 11 and 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, "Who shall give us flesh to eat?" Verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic.
Right. You see, we lost it.
Verse 6. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes.
That's it. That's the ungratefulness of Israel. You're in the wilderness, right? The Most High is giving you food according to your taste. Yet, we still remember going back in the past. And if we stuck in the past, it's always like you can't move forward. You cannot enjoy new things if we stuck in the past. Because new things is something that you're not accustomed to. So the Most High give us manna, instead of take it for what it is, and not only that, it was the best thing. But because it's unfamiliar, we didn't welcome it as we should.
when you read it further down, Moses is seeing what's going on, and Moses is like, this is crazy, right? And then Moses is like, Moses, why would you put me in this position?
Right.
Kill me right now. Just kill me. Like, if Moses start asking the Most High to take him off and take his spirit, because this is ridiculous. Right? And Most High said, nah, they ain't you, don't worry about it. Just give me some righteous men. I'm going to handle this. Right? And he did. Later on, Most High wanted to slaughter and kill him. So he said, I'm gonna give you so much food it's gonna coming out of your eyes. Like, right. And then when they got what they was wanting, Most High took something out. Again, like we said, we were ungrateful. Like, a lot of us didn't see what Most High had done.
Right. Yeah. That was Numbers 11 and 4, right? All right, let's go to verse 10 now in Wisdom of Solomon. For they were yet mindful of the things that were done while they sojourned in the strange land. It's like we did not have like a stable mind. It's kind of like the Egyptian did the numbers on our mind. At one point, we knew things weren't all good, right, in Egypt. And that's what we're seeing here in verse 10. It says, for they were yet mindful, they remembered, of the things that were done while they sojourned in the strange land. How the ground brought forth flies instead of cattle, right? And how the river cast up a multitude of frogs instead of fishes. But afterward, they saw a new generation of fowls, right? The new generation of fowls, when being led with their appetite, they asked delicate meat. So we start asking for delicacy. You know how sometimes you have things that you need, right? And then things that you want. After a while, all our needs were met. So now we start asking for other things. So when we ask for a delicacy, the Most High pretty much give us, quails to eat, right? Let's read on. But with all that, we still go, remember Egypt. But not all of us, but, some of us in Israel still, desire things that were back then and that were back in Egypt. Verse 11, but afterward they saw a new generation of fowls. When being led with their appetites, they asked delicate meat. For quails came up unto them from the sea for their contentment. So anything that now you have that now, the Most High just give it to you. And there was the Most High delighted to give it to us. It's kind of like when you have a child, the child kept your commandments in the household. They kept your ordinance in the household, clean this, clean that, and do your homework. They do everything that they're supposed to do. They follow everything that you tell them. Now, food is something that you got to give them anyway, regardless. They have to eat, right? They have to eat regardless. But now, after you see that they've been obedient, you say, nah, I gotta do something extra for him, or I gotta do something extra for her or for them, because I'm gonna give him a reward now. Where do you want to go on vacation, right? What do you want for your birthday? So now you start to give them extra stuff because they've been obedient, right, to what you telling them to do. So now you will go the extra mile. So now the Most High went the extra mile to give Israel what they desire, right? Granted that we had already have manna, but when we desire some other things, the Most High would give it to us, right? It's like a treat, right?
But guess what's happening now, right? Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So, things that we eat now, the majority of us eat. We didn't even know how the animal was killed, where it was processed. Put the one on the label, or this was processed within, shellfish. And the animals, we don't know if they just beat the animal and kill them or kill them properly. We don't know, so we just pray over it and just eat it, as opposed to the animal, if it die of itself, not being slaughtered, we don't know what they're giving to us.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have one I want to read. I've been reading this for like 40 years. It's in Psalm 78, verse 29. It's up a little further, but it's a nice little piece. Psalm 78, 29 to like 30, 31. And this is them asking for the same thing when we read right here on the Fox. Go to 20, or 29 before. So they did eat and were well filled. He gave them their own desires. 30. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouth, the wrath of God came upon them and slew the fatness of them and smoked down the chosen men of Israel.
Right. So that's what our council was bringing up.
Sure.
So now we're gonna segue into the punishment of the Egyptians, right? So now we see what the Most High did for us, give us delicacy, right? When we desire delicacy, right? Because we His children, He treat us accordingly, as a father would treat, his sons and daughters. So now let's see the flip side of what happened to the Egyptian. In verse 13, it says, and punishment came upon the sinners, not without former sign, by the force of thunder, for they suffered justly according to their own wickedness, and so much as they used a more hard and hateful behavior towards strangers. What we're talking about is here is when we were in Egypt, the Most High have us there in a strange land, but we shouldn't have to be treated the way they treat us. So they suffered because of their wicked act. So they practice wicked behavior and hatred towards strangers, because it says they're strangers to them. We are strangers to them, just they are strangers to us, right? Because we are other nations. So we were living in strangers' land. So that's why it says strangers here. So when strangers come to them, right, in verse 14, it says, for the Sodomites did not receive those who they knew not when they came, but these brought friends into bondage that had well deserved of them. So you remember what happened to Lot, right? When the angels came and Lot received them, right? And those people, they wanted to go into Lot's house and get the strangers, get the angels to kill them. Get the men to kill them. Right. Right. So the same way you have the Egyptian, they make slaves of them at some point in time, right, who actually receive them well and want to dwell with them, right, in peace. But they turn around and make us slaves. The same way what happened to Christopher Columbus when he came, found the Indians, so-called, right, find out the northern tribe, and we received them well. He even testified saying these people, there's no God in these people. He went and gave message to the queen and said, man, these people, they're the most welcoming people that I ever met. There's no God in these people. Right. So now he made deal with them and turn around and slaughter them. So the same story repeats itself, meaning the wicked, there's no changing the wicked. They do the same practice over and over and over. They won. Same practice over and over and over. You cannot make agreement with wicked. They will violate their agreement. Go on.
And where I'm staying at, they show on TV how they want to snatch down Christopher Columbus statue, but they put the box around it. My man said, snatch it down. They raised me, I'm a grown man, 64 years old, and y'all been lying to me about this white man discovered America. And what would you say you was again? The 12 tribes of Israel. And Indians was already here. I like it.
Right. So as we read on, you'll see the same scenario that we're talking about here unfold. It says in verse 15, and not only so, but peradventure, some respect shall be head of those, because they use strangers, not friendly. Right? Right. So when you look at in verse 15, it says, and not only so, but peradventure some respect shall be head of those, because they use strangers, not friendly. Let's say, for example, you have a problem, you go to the system for help, right? Instead of they pretending like they helping you, but they receive you with hostility. What do you want, nigga?
True.
Yeah? You ain't help. You need help? Yeah, take this here and get out of here. Right? They receive you with hostility. Instead of saying you have issues, you have problems, come on, let me help you. And so receive you kindly. They pretend like they set the system to help you, but the way they receive you and give you the help, you almost like you don't want it. Because the way they make you feel, how they giving you that help. And you even have it where the NGOs goes to those countries, they make the people stand in line, right? Right, mess up their dignity, right? Then give them food, give them a little bag of food, and then have them line up, and then film, put them in on camera.
Yeah.
Right? So just pretty much they give it to you, but the hostility and how they give it to you, you almost like you don't want it, right? They set up the food program, but when you get there, they make sure you line up outside. Everybody coming. Oh, you are so and so. Look at him in line. Right? They pretty much they humiliate you while they set up a system so-called to help you out.
Right now.
To help you out.
They're doing it right now.
So that's how the wicked operates. He pretend like he's helping you, but the help he's for his own gain, to humiliate you.
That verse 15, you got that out of?
Go on.
Okay.
Verse 16. But this very grievous afflicted them whom they had received with feasting, and were already made partakers of the same law with them. So again, lawfully, we had our stuff, right? Lawfully, we had our stuff. We had our property. I'm giving an example of what happened to us in Egypt and also what happened to us now. Legally, we came into this country, the northern tribe, they had the stuff. Now, they signed up agreement with them, and then they turn around and stole the stuff from them and slaughtered them. And they had the right to the land where they were, and they stole it from them, and now they call it theirs. And they put them in reservation camp. It says again, but these very grievous afflicted them whom they had received with feasting. So we welcoming people. right? We receive them with feasts, right? And we're already made partakers of the same law with them. Therefore, even with blindness, were these stricken. So now the wicked were stricken with blindness. What happened? You remember what happened with those people, right? And also what happened in Egypt. They could not even see. The Most High put a dark pitch in front of them where they could not even see their own doors. It's the same way when they were trying to get the men that came to Lot, they could not even see where to preach out because the Most High strike them with blindness. It says it says, therefore, even with blindness were these stricken, as those were at the doors of the righteous men, when being compassed about with horrible great darkness, everyone sought the passage of his own door. So they could not even recognize their own doors. So the Most High stricken them with blindness. So that's the power of the Most High, right? He strike the wicked, even when they do things, the Most High can have it where you don't even have to use a weapon. You just strike them with blindness where they don't even know where to go, or even know where to put their step. Their doors that they go in and out, and their doors of the house where they go in and out, it may turn where they don't even know where to go to open that door. Blindness, they cannot even see to open their own doors.
Now, I know about him and his daughters and sons. Where's the other one that you talking about where God put a blindness on?
Where?
Okay, like he put a blindness on them?
No, we're talking about in the Egyptians. You remember where the Most High had
that's why I'm up here.
in Exodus.
In Exodus?
Right. When you read the Exodus chapter, what happened when the Most High delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The 20.
Right. Go there and read it. All right. So see our Exodus out of Egypt. See our Exodus out of Egypt and read that chapter, and you'll see all the curses. Where's the beginning of it?
No, you say after 20. I'm asking you. You didn't say I see.
Hold on, let me get it for you exactly.
Okay, it must be 21, but I got 26 highlighted. And Pharaoh, he should let them go free for this eyesight. I guess I have to read the whole thing. Okay, well, if you know, that'd be nice to tell me instead of him going back and forth.
Give me a second.
I hope you're reading now.
You could start with the 12th chapter.
Okay, I'll go back to them all. All right.
And you can read about the 10 plagues that the Most High put, and you'll see. All right, so let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 19, in verse 18. For the elements were changed in themselves by a kind of harmony, like as in a psaltery note change the name of the tune, and yet are always sound, which may well be perceived by the sight of the things that have been done. right?
Oh, wait till you get to 19.
What verse man?
18.
We at verse 18.
The element.
What happened?
What element is talking about here?
What element is talking about here? That's a good question.
Person, not change the name of the tomb, and yet always found, which is well we perceived by the sight of the things that have been done. But when you read verse 19, it says, for the earthly things returned into watering, and the things that before swarmed in the water now went upon the ground. That come out the water, walk on the ground.
Okay, can you talk louder?
Yes, sir. When you read verse 19, it says,
I don't think you got it yet.
oh yeah, you is right over there, go. All right. Those are elements.
What are the elements?
So you move forward, right? Okay.
In 18.
The elements change themselves.
Because what we're reading right here, if you read it says, for the elements were changed in themselves by a kind of harmony, like as in psaltery notes, change the name of the tune and yet are always sound, which may well be perceived by the sight of the things that have been done.
I think the bar know that. Exactly.
If you read verse 19, it's gonna give you a clue of what it's saying here.
I'll read this in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16.
Wisdom of Solomon.
Right. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 17. It says, for which is most to be wondered at, the fire had more force in the water,
Right.
that quencheth all things, for the world fighteth for the righteous. For some time the flame was mitigated, that it might not burn up the beast that was sent against the ungodly, but themselves might see and perceive that they were persecuted with the judgments of God. And at another time it burneth even in the midst of water above the power of fire, that it might destroy the fruits of an unjust land. Instead whereof thou feddest thine own people with angels' food, and didst send them from heaven bread prepared without their labor, able to content every man's delight and agreeing to every taste. For thy sustenance declared the sweetness unto thy children, and serving to the appetite of the eater, tempered itself to every man's liking. But snow and ice endured the fire, and melted not,
that they might know that fire burning in the hail and sparkling in rain did destroy the fruits of the enemies. For this again did even forget his own strength, that the righteous might be nourished. So the Most High was allowing the elements, something that was normal, didn't happen normal. It changed its properties. Where snow and ice didn't melt in the fire, or fire didn't get quenched in the water. It was meeting the objectives of the Most High to punish the Egyptians. But those same things did not do that to Israel. Right? The Most High had to do his normal thing to provide, nourish, and save Israel. But in the other course, it changed. So the Most High had the elements change. Look at it in this way. Like when Yahweh turned water to wine, right? What did he do? He changed the properties of the elements. Normally it was just H2O that was just in the buckets. And they had no wine. What did he do? He went and changed it to make it now become wine. So the Most High has the power to make what is seen become something else, or make what it can do become something or do something else.
Right.
So that's why I'm going to get into how the elements changed. Were changing themselves by a perfect kind of harmony. It was, to meet the objectives of power.
Good. And to bring it all together, you see how when I was going to the chapter, I'll tell you, we transition from here to there, right? We move from here to there. So in the finish it off, starting in verse 18, is more so a summary of what had happened, what we just read. So right now it's going to a summary of what had happened. So he's summarizing what the Most High had done to the Egyptian. Right? It's a summary.
What was that verse in the Wisdom of Solomon that he just read?
Chapter 16, verse 17.
All the way to 23.
Oh, 16, verse 17.
Right. To 23. So in verse 18, you can put it as a summary of what happened to the Egyptian, how the Most High changed the element where it works in a harmonious way to destroy the Egyptian. So how things function before did not function the same way as they used to, right? Fire was changed. Fire is supposed to, when you put water, it go out. At that point, water could not quench the fire. So things changed their natural course. And they did not work in a harmonious way, right? The way it used to work before, but it worked against the Egyptian. So they were expecting this, but what they expected did not happen. It went to the contrary. So the whole dynamic of things would change. So this is going into the conclusion of what happened to the Egyptian. That's what you're reading here. Not the conclusion, the summary. Then the last verse is going to give you the conclusion. Go on.
Is that how the volcano is on the sea? Burning? That's what it's doing, it's burning.
Right.
And water gets to it, it's still burning. It
Right.
ain't hard enough.
Right.
But it's still burning right now while we.
But right now, it's a natural thing.
Okay.
Right. So if like the volcano, right? You said if even water get to it, don't burn. At that point in time, what happened to the Egyptian? If what it used to do that it would be doing, it did something completely different.
Wait till you get to 20.
Right?
A miracle.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Right. What we call a miracle to the Most High is like regular stuff because he knows the elements, how they operate. So us, because we don't understand, we lack understanding of everything that the Most High created. To us, it's a miracle because we don't understand it. But to him, he know how each minute, right, little bit of atom connected to the next to make whatever he wants to make happen, to manipulate whatever he wants to manipulate. Right. So this is a summary of what we just read in Wisdom of Solomon, the 19th chapter. Right. It says 20. The fire and it says the fire had power in the water. You see that? The fire had power in the water. Forgetting his own virtue, in the water, forgot his own quenching nature. So see, even the water the water programmed to quench fire. The Most High switched the chemical element that the water is made of, and the water forgot what it's supposed to do and do something completely different.
They actually showed that on TV. Fire burning, water hitting everything. The fire still cool.
Con. It says in verse 21, on the other side, the flame was wasted not the flesh of the corruptible living things. Right? It did not wasted not the flesh of the corruptible living things. Get that? So it did what it's supposed to do in measure according to how the Most High wanted to operate. Like you would have a fire, the fire ravage everything. Right? If the fire break out, you better run because it's gonna take anything in its way. But it gets to that fire was controlled. It burns whatever the Most High wanted it to burn. Right? At that point, the Most High was the firefighter, controlling where the fire goes, controlling the wind, right? How the wind moved the fire.
Are they talking about in that verse, the three Hebrew boys, Meshach and Abednego? Is that what they talk about there?
Daniel 3:23.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right, you can allude that to it as well.
Oh, but that's not talking directly about that.
Now, this is just summarize what happened to the Egyptian. This is like whatever we just read before. It's pretty much summarized the whole chapter of what happened to the Egyptian, what the Most High did to the Egyptian.
Oh, God.
God did put an element in that fire right there. Now, they didn't want them burning.
Go on. So verse 22 now is the conclusion. Right? So the chapter is being concluded now. We're reading the conclusion in verse 22. It says, the conclusion. It's like, let's say the conclusion of the whole matter in Ecclesiastes. This is the conclusion of the wisdom of Solomon. It says, for in all things, O Lord, thou did magnify thy people and glorify them, neither did thou lightly regard them, but did assist them in every time and place. So Most High always assists us in every time, in every place. So he got your back no matter what. For in everything, he's exalted his people, he glorified his people. And he never neglect them in all time. In all times, in all places, right? In all time, in all places. Egypt is one instance and a big one, but in all places and times, the Most High never lived, including in this time. That's why it says in time. Regardless of the time, regardless of the place, right? Regardless where you are in time, regardless of the location, region where you live right now, throughout the four corners of the earth, the children of Israel is not forsaken, regardless of where you are.
Let's read Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. It said, therefore say, thus said the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
Right. So picture the Most High like a father, Father never neglect his offspring. Never. It's the same way. The Most High, after all, he's a father. Yes, he's a king. He's the Lord. He owns everything. But also, he's a father. So wherever his children travel, he never forget them. And in due time, he will reunite all his children together back in the same fold. This is our hope. Like we said last night, it's about a king with a kingdom and his royal family. A king, a kingdom, his royal family, headed by a father, and the father's name is Yahweh. Yahweh. And his begotten son is Yahushua. Right? He's our big brother. All right, so that concludes chapter 19. We're gonna take a brief recess and we will get back at 1:20. Stay tuned.
You all right there, man?